Tonight on Newswatch, the state medical board investigates the breach of private medical data linked to medical marijuana cards.
Plus, talk show host Jimmy Kimmel sparks outrage, why ABC pulled his show off the air indefinitely.
And in sports, we've hit the halfway point in the high school football season. Gridiron Glory takes a look at the storylines of the week. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Parker Davis. It's been a hot week here in Athens.
And I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld. Welcome to Newswatch. To hear more about it, let's go over to forecaster Emily Dietz.
Parker and Charlie, you guys are absolutely right. It has been a very hot week down here in Southeast Ohio, and unfortunately, those conditions won't be letting up anytime soon. Right now, we're looking at temperatures of about 86 degrees, and we are seeing some beautiful, clear skies ahead. It's also a bit dry outside, but across the state of Ohio, we are seeing similar conditions to that we are in Southeast Ohio. We're in those mid to upper 80 ranges. Now, with how hot it's been and how sunny it's been, it definitely makes our feels like temperature outside closer to 90. So definitely a good week to make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and if you're working outside, taking plenty of breaks to go inside and rest and cool down for a little bit. Now, the main reason we're seeing all of this warm air is due to this high pressure that's been sitting over our region for the past week. We have this large dry air mass sitting over our area, but we do have a low pressure system that is beginning to develop over the Great Plains area, but we'll dive into that more a little bit later. In the meantime, tonight we will see some cooling conditions outside, about 55 degrees for our low with some clear skies. Be sure to stay tuned for my full forecast to take a look at that low pressure system.
Thank you, Emily. The State Medical Board is investigating a data breach of medical marijuana cards and statewide client records. A cybersecurity researcher found these records and filed a report with the Division of Cannabis Control against a company called Ohio Medical Card that helps Ohioans register themselves for a marijuana card. The company faces several federal lawsuits, and lawyers want the judge should designate this case as a class action lawsuit.
Two Republican state lawmakers want harsher penalties for politically motivated crimes. The bill was inspired by the recent shooting of
President Donald Trump,
Kirk, and Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman. The bill would add to state hate crime statute by including victims' political party affiliation and whether they served in an elected office as classifications in aggravated murder charges. The bill's sponsor says he worries the uptick in political violence will discourage political speech.
ABC's decision to indefinitely pull Jimmy Kimmel's late night show from air is sending shockwaves throughout the entire entertainment industry. And it also sparks concerns about the Trump administration cracking down on free speech. Karen Kefa reports on the reactions from Washington.
President Donald Trump traveling in the United Kingdom Thursday, brushing off free speech concerns after ABC's sidelining of late night host Jimmy Kimmel back home.
He said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Kimmel's indefinite suspension was announced Wednesday, and just hours after Federal Communications Commission Chair Brendan Carr threatened to take action against ABC and parent company Disney if they did not address comments Kimmel made about the MAGA movement's reaction to the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Carr on CNBC Thursday morning said broadcast television licenses require a certain standard.
I've been clear, we're reinvigorating the FCC's enforcement of public interest, and it's a good thing.
But some Democrats fear a Trump administration crackdown on free speech and expression.
Donald Trump, in the wake of the tragic murder of Charlie Kirk, has decided to exploit that tragedy to try to silence his political opponents. I think Kimmel is just the beginning.
Some Republicans arguing ABC simply made a business decision.
ABC is a private company, and they can make their own choices on who they want to wear their brand, so to speak.
Despite declining viewership for late-night TV, Kimmel's program has been holding an audience, especially among the key demographic of viewers ages 25 to 54. In Washington, I'm Karen Kefa.
The House is giving lawmakers more money for personal security in the wake of Charlie Kirk's shooting. The additional funding is an extension of a pilot program started after two Minnesota lawmakers were shot in June. It gave members $20,000 a month for home security and $5,000 for personal security. The extension doubles for the amount of personal security to $10,000 a month. but it expires November 21st. The original pilot program was set to expire at the end of this month. A rural Pennsylvania community is reeling today after 5 law enforcement officers were shot while trying to make an arrest in a stalking case.
Now, state officials are calling for stronger efforts to combat gun violence. Amy Kiley has the latest on the investigation.
This kind of violence isn't okay.
3 officers are dead and 2 are gravely wounded after a shooting in central Pennsylvania yesterday. Officials say the injured are York County sheriffs and the deceased were Northern York regional officers.
This is an absolutely tragic and devastating day for York County and for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Sources say the officers were trying to arrest the suspect and serve a restraining order involving his ex-girlfriend.
This involves stalking, repeatedly criminal acts to cause fear, loitering and prowling at night, criminal trespass, simple trespass.
Officials say the shooter was wearing camouflage and waiting in a cornfield when officers arrived.
When I got past the barn, I heard gunshots. I just saw a lot of chaos and saw some bodies.
Officials say the suspect is dead after law enforcement returned fire. Attorney General Pam Bondi says federal agents are investigating. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says the tragedy is a reminder to appreciate first responders. He's also calling for more efforts to prevent gun violence.
We need to do better when it comes to looking out for those who are in need so we don't have to deal with tragedies like this.
It also is a reminder, especially with emotionally charged situations, domestic situations, how fast and how violently these things can spin out of control.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The Department of Health and Human Services says it is moving to shut down a major organ donation system. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced the move to decertify the Life Alliance Organ Recovery Agency earlier today. The group is one of 55 organ procurement organizations responsible for managing the recovery of organs for transplantation in the United States. He cited a new study he said found unsafe practices, staffing shortages, and paperwork errors. Officials say this move is part of the department's effort to build trust in the organ donation system.
We are sending a tough message to all the other nonprofit organ procurement organizations, so they know we're serious. We want them to know there's a new sheriff in town, and we're coming for them if they don't take care of the American people.
The agency could still appeal the decertification. A federal judge orders the deportation of a key leader of the pro-Palestine protest at Columbia. A Louisiana judge says Mahmoud Khalil didn't disclose all of his past employment group involvement on his green card application. Khalil, a former graduate student, was arrested in March. His attorney is now trying to appeal the order. The government used an uncommon law provision, meaning that any non-citizen, even legal residents, can be deported if the Secretary of State sees their actions as harmful against national U.S. foreign policy interests.
President Donald Trump is taking his effort to remove a governor from the Federal Reserve to the Supreme Court. Trump is asking the High Court to let him fire Lisa Cook from the Fed's powerful board. The Trump administration accuses Cook of commuting mortgage fraud concerning 2 homes. The president fired Cook on August 25th, but the federal court on September 10th blocked the move. If Trump is successful in getting the Supreme Court to allow him to fire her, it would mark the first time a Fed governor is fired by a president in the Federal Reserve's 111-year history. Democrats are out with their counterplan to fund the government past September 30th. The 1-month stopgap will not get a vote in the GOP-controlled House or Senate, but it represents a list of Democrats' priorities. Those including reversing cuts to Medicaid, permanently extending Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire this year, and restoring congressionally approved spending the Trump administration canceled. In the coming days, the House will vote on the Republicans' plan to keep the government funded through November 21st.
President Donald Trump wraps up his trip to the UK after engaging in trade talks with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He is the first foreign leader to be invited for 2 UK state visits and has made it clear he was flattered by the unprecedented invitation. White House correspondent Julia Benbrook is at the White House with the details.
When British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who is aware of President Donald Trump's interest in royalty and ceremony, visited the White House a few months ago, he brought with him the invite for this trip and promised it would be, quote, incredible and historic. On Wednesday, the royals rolled out the red carpet for a day full of pomp and pageantry, including a royal salute, carriage procession, and a state banquet. Thursday, though, was more of a day of business, and as Trump and Starmer sat down for talks, both highlighted the strong bond between the two countries.
I think it's an unbreakable bond we have, regardless of what we're doing today. I think it's unbreakable.
The leaders discussed partnerships in various areas, including trade, and signed what they are calling a tech prosperity deal, a pact that will see U.S. tech companies invest billions of dollars in the UK for AI, quantum computing, and nuclear energy.
To ensure our countries lead the next great technological revolution side by side. In fact, we just left the business leaders, the biggest in the world. Some are in this room right now. And that was quite a meeting we had on business and trade and technology.
At the end of the trip, the leaders held a joint news conference addressing various topics, including the wars in Gaza and Ukraine. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The Federal Trade Commission is suing Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation Entertainment. The lawsuit accuses them of failing to crack down on ticket resellers. It claims that alleged inaction is forcing customers to pay substantially more than face value for popular concerts and events. It also accuses Live Nation of bait-and-switch pricing, where consumers often pay more than advertised. And it takes aim at the company's fees. The FTC said fees are often hidden and not shown until the end of the purchase, and they can be as much as 44% of the final cost of the ticket. Coming up, fall season is almost here. How you can manage your allergies.
And chip manufacturer NVIDIA is set to take a multi-billion-dollar stake in rival company Intel's.
We've seen clear skies this past week, but clouds will be moving into the area shortly. Be sure to stay tuned for my full weather to find out more.
Menopause is the one universal female experience. If you are born with ovaries, you will be menopausal.
I didn't notice the menopause stuff happening. I felt like an angry person, and I'm not an angry person.
Menopause certainly changes your brain.
The generation going through menopause now, they're not going to suffer in silence.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
He was a giant of Latin American, even world literature.
Lezama was Catholic, gay, secretly gay.
Paradiso was Lezama's personal coming out.
Que no confundan la serenidad de la revolución con debilidades de la revolución.
He knew what he was writing was controversial.
Dear Eloy, if there is no freedom, there can be no truth.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Feel the wonder wherever we are.
It was kind of a moment of enlightenment.
So come get lost with me. We'll see the great unknown.
It's home to me. Wow, that's beautiful.
We could be the greatest story ever told.
When we all work together, we make change. I still believe in that.
I'm excited.
You my hero, you know that, right?
Thank you.
Most people believe that doctors are healers.
Love is why we're here.
Life goes fast,
Our story is everyone's story.
but it's just the start.
Nearly 1 in 3 adults and more than 1 in 4 children in the U.S. report having seasonal allergies. And experts say climate change may make symptoms last longer and more severe.
In today's Health Minute, Manny Gaither explains why fall can be a tough time of year for allergy sufferers and how you can manage those symptoms.
If you think seasonal allergies only bloom in spring, think again. As the leaves change color, those allergens pollinate and continue to be in the air until the first hard frost.
Fall allergens are still just as intense and can elicit all of the same symptoms.
Dr. Jessica Huey with National Jewish Health says those symptoms can include nasal congestion, runny nose, and itchy, watery eyes. Huey says this season can be one of the toughest times to get those symptoms under control.
Finally, the weather's cooler, so you're going outside, you're doing yard work, you're keeping your windows open in your home. Well, all of these are exposing you to pollens.
To help stop that exposure, WHOI says to change clothes after being outdoors, shower to get pollen off your skin and out of your hair, keep windows shut as much as possible, especially bedroom windows. Avoid going outside in peak pollen times from late morning to mid-afternoon. Clean the vents in your home and change air filters.
These are all things that not only are great for your home, but can get rid of the different allergens that have kind of accumulated there throughout the year.
And if you're already feeling those fall allergy symptoms, WHOI says over-the-counter and prescription nasal sprays can help, as can oral medications like antihistamines.
Just know you have a toolbox and you have strategies to really try to limit the amount of pollen exposures that you have.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but this drought has really triggered my allergies.
Oh, absolutely. With all the dry weather outside, I mean, we often forget that flowers are still out there, and you have a lot of grasses that are actually flowering as well. So I know I've been getting the allergies, and it hasn't been fun, but just like you said, the drought really is making it worse.
Yes. And speaking about that drought, when are we going to get any relief from it?
Exactly.
Well, unfortunately, right now we are in a D1 drought in southeast Ohio, and there are some areas of Ohio that are experiencing worse areas of drought than us. But we're not going to be out of this drought anytime soon, unfortunately. We will need to see a lot of rainfall than what we've already seen to be able to get us out of this drought. And even though there's a little bit of rain on our forecast, it's not enough to get out of this drought for a while. And this can have an impact on our allergies. So rainfall can actually help to kind of pull some of those pollens out of the atmosphere a little bit, but it can also have a negative effect as well by helping to inspire some mold to grow in some certain areas. So there's very much a lot of pro cons as to whether rain will actually help your allergies or not, but we are looking forward to seeing at least a little rainfall to help us out with fall temperatures. Athens currently is about 86 degrees, so it definitely doesn't feel like fall, even though the first day is on Monday, and we are seeing some clear skies ahead. Now, we do have a low pressure system that is developing in the Great Plains area, and we have a cold front attached to that, which means we could be seeing some relief from those high temperatures, because right now we have this high pressure system sitting in our area that's pulling up this big, warm, dry air mass. So it hasn't been super muggy outside, very fortunately for us, but we are expecting some cloud coverage to move in, especially beginning at next week. But unfortunately, this weekend, we're still going to be seeing all of these high temperatures into the 80s, and even with our feels like temperature into the 90s. But for tonight, since we have those clear skies, we aren't seeing a lot of cloud coverage. We're going to be seeing our overnight low of 55 because that cloud layer tends to act as a layer of insulation overnight. So we tend to see a bigger difference between our daytime and our nighttime conditions when we have these clear conditions outside. Now for tomorrow, again, it's going to be hotter than it was today, about 89 degrees. We'll see an overnight low of 59. So it's going to be clear skies again, mostly sunny, and we're not going to start to see that cloud coverage until again later into the weekend and even on Monday. So tomorrow, we're still going to see that high pressure in the area. That low pressure is going to continue to develop. We're seeing a lot of bowing out from this frontal system. As we go into tomorrow night, that's when we start to see it really begin to push into our area. We do have a little bit of cold front passing over top of the central part of the Ohio, but for us down here in southeast Ohio, again, that high pressure is still going to be dominating. Now on Saturday, that's when we're really going to start to see this shift a little bit. That low pressure system with that rainfall and that cloud coverage is really going to start to inch closer for us. So we're going to start to see some partly cloudy skies, but by the time we roll it down into Sunday, that's when we're really going to start to see this big sort of shift from 89 to some slightly cooler temperatures ahead. Now on Sunday, again, it's going to be just as hot as it was on Saturday, but Monday we're going to see that 20% chance of showers, and we are expecting that percent chance of showers to change as that system begins to develop and scoot closer towards us. But fortunately, the first day of fall is on Monday, and we are going to start to see temperatures begin to lower. We won't be closer to the 70s till again on Thursday, and that's when we're expecting another cold front to move through the area, which is why we're seeing that rainfall, but it's at least a step in the right direction and should help with some of that fall color we love to see on the trees.
Thanks, Emily. The Food and Drug Administration is moving forward with plans to ban the petroleum-based food dye Orange Bee. The FDA says the additive is no longer used by the food industry, making regulation unnecessary. The agency says it's also working to remove petroleum-based food dyes from products sold in schools by the beginning of next school year. Consumers can make public comments on the matter through October 16th.
Chip manufacturer NVIDIA says it will take a $5 billion stake in its former rival, Intel. The purchase makes NVIDIA a major shareholder of the tech company alongside the U.S. government. Last month, President Donald Trump announced the government was making an $8.9 billion investment in Intel's common stock. It's part of the Trump administration's efforts to cement the U.S.'s position as a leader in the global chip-making industry.
Next in sports, high school football week kicks off tomorrow. Grant Kiefer and Josh Werner look at the top storylines on the 2-minute drill when we come back.
And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on X, Instagram, and YouTube. Stay tuned for a new episode of The Wrap-Up coming this Saturday.
PBS viewers believe that businesses that sponsor PBS on WOUB Public Television have a commitment to quality and excellence. Sponsoring a PBS television program offers your business a unique opportunity to connect with a highly engaged, loyal, and trustful audience in a clutter-free environment, leading to increased brand awareness, positive perception, and potential for higher customer engagement. Your sponsorship is important to the community, and the rewards come back to you in the form of loyal customers. Align your organization with America's most trusted news and public affairs network. WOUB Public Television is worthy of your trust. Contact Corporate Support Director Kathy Malesic at 740-593-4909 or online at woub.org/support.
We're 5 weeks into the regular season. Teams are settling in, conference play is in full swing, and the playoffs loom in the distance. The Jackson Ironmen will head over to Ironton to face off against the reigning Division V state champs. Can the Ironmen beat them for the first time since 2014? And this week, our Game of the Week features last year's TVC hockey champs going head-to-head with the TVC Ohio champs.
Find out all that and more next week, because there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
CasualWorks was not designed, created, or maintained by people who studied disability. They're people who studied opportunity. If a person has very limited movement and can make little teeny circles, there's a place for you. The idea of workers contorting themselves to a job is one business model. Our business model is that the job responds to the worker.
All right, week 5 of high school football season's already here. Josh, can you believe we're already at this point?
Grant, it's so hard to believe. This season's been flying by.
Hey, we're going to fly through this week's edition of the 2-minute drill. These are the top storylines around SCO football. Josh, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to start off with the clock rolling now. Player spotlight for the week is going to be Sims Valley's Bronx Carpenter. Numbers like these can't be taken lightly through just 5 games.
Oh, no doubt. Sims Valley has been living through the air, and these guys' numbers really reflect it. Over 1,200 passing yards, 12 touchdowns through the air, and 2 on the ground. And he's been rather efficient, too. 80% completion percentage, and only 2 interceptions to go along with it.
Every year, there's teams we expect to be good. There's surprise teams that come along, too. Right now, we've got some emerging with 2 major upsets last week. I was watching these scores on Friday night updating. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but these wins were awesome. Take a look. This might be the upset of the year in Washington Courthouse last week, Josh.
Yeah, Washington Courthouse was 42-point underdogs. They lost 70-14 last year to Granville, and they pulled it off. And not only that, by 2 touchdowns as well. And now the path to the playoffs, is there for this Courthouse team. Huge win for some Harbin points.
Yeah, that was non-conference. Here's a conference upset in the MSL Cardinal. Bern Union takes down Miller.
Now, the road to 10-0 is over for Miller, but there is still a path to win the Cardinal, and their chances aren't done yet. And this win, though, for Bern Union is absolutely huge. They can now probably backdoor into the playoffs. Now, it's going to be an uphill battle, but with a win like this, that's going to throw them in the chance for a race in the playoffs.
Yeah, potentially a conference crown, too, there. We're going to go ahead and check out the game of the week. There are great games last week. This week, we've got a really big cross-conference showdown. Doesn't get a lot better than Waterford from the Hawking against Nelsonville York from the TVC Ohio.
Yeah, this is a really great measuring game for both sides, especially for NY. They haven't had a game decided by less than 4 scores all season. Now, this Waterford team did come off a loss to a rival Fort Fry, but you know they're going to want to get this one back a little bit more. And there's no way to bounce back better than taking down a top team in Region 19. Now, these two teams met for the first time last season, and Waterford took the dub. These offenses are really rolling this season. Grant, I think that's all we got for today.
Yeah, that's all we got. Clock stopped. That's all we've got. A great slate of games ahead tomorrow night. Gonna go ahead, check this guy out on the pregame huddle on all of Gridiron Glory's socials for full game previews. Let's go ahead and send it back to you.
Stay tuned to hear where Ohio landed on the list.
We'll be back after the break, but for now, here's a look at what's coming up next on your public television station.
The paint was unusual.
Especially if you're planning on throwing it at someone.
The intent was to kill.
The climate activists.
Dormant until recently.
Chloe, I need you to go to London.
Who do you hold responsible?
I want to marry her.
I thought he might be your father.
When we hide, we want more than anything to be found.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Of course they're here.
What's going on?
There's been a death at the sailing club. Is it murder?
We need to understand who might want him dead and why.
There's something you need to see.
Evidence that suggests it wasn't an accident.
Sounds like you rubbed a few people up the wrong way.
If this is my last case as SIA, I've got to solve it.
I may just see if the police missed anything.
How are you going to do that without a warrant?
The Marlowe Murder Club.
Afternoon.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
Your first guest, Margaret Thatcher.
There's never been a woman Prime Minister.
Thank you for joining us, Mrs. Thatcher.
Goodbye, then.
A quick intro, and then...
Presumably a two-shot.
He's your favourite journalist. You ready?
Yes. One mistake, and they will have me out.
We have to be tougher.
To a fourth term!
I know what I have to do. What on earth is going on?
Betrayal.
Hey, it's your old car here. Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. Vehicles like me can bring significant funds to public television. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy, the pickup is free, and your gift is tax-deductible.
If you're looking for a quick day trip for this weekend, you might want to take a trip to one of Ohio's award-winning state parks. You heard that right. Ohio state parks have been named the best park system in the country, beating out finalists Florida and Wyoming for the top spot. State park systems were rated on categories including in community engagement and innovation. Ohio gives free entry to all 76 of its state parks, and that includes nearby Stroud's Run. I mean, there's just so many great state parks nearby. I mean, mentioned Stroud's Run, Hocking Hills State Park. You know, you guys have a favorite?
I absolutely love hiking, so Hocking Hills is one of my top favorites. But Stroud's Run over the summer, just being able to enjoy the water, that's definitely up there.
Stroud's Run has to be my favorite. You just can't beat it, especially at the end of the year or in the summer. It's great.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Are we going to be able to enjoy it this weekend?
Well, this weekend is very much looking like it does today and tomorrow. So that means hot conditions and sunny skies. But that also means if you're going to go out and enjoy these parks, you should bring plenty of water because it is going to be hot. Tomorrow we're looking at a high of about 89 degrees with that heat index getting close to the 90s, which also means your feels like temperature outside. But the rest of this week, we'll slowly see a dip in those temperatures as we get closer to fall. Now, unfortunately, again, this weekend it's still going to be hot, partly sunny skies, but beginning on Monday, we're going to start to see that chance of showers slowly move into the area, which I know I'm really excited about because that also will help our leaf colors for this fall season. It also helps some of those fall crops as well because we are currently in a drought. But definitely make sure you stay hydrated and take breaks inside if you are working outside.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Emily Dietz, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld.
And I'm Parker Davis. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.
I love
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.